Good evening, Nation's Corner, family, friends, and fans. John in South Jersey here. Welcome to Nation's Corner on location, continuing our Mania Week Preview series. And joining me tonight, of course, all the way from Monrovia by way of the Long Island Expressway. Monogrovian Mike, what's up, brother?
I feel like Monogrovian Yogi Berra. It's deja vu all over again.
Hey, 90% of the time it works 60% of the time.
That's right. Well, let's bring in our guest.
Yes, we do have a guest. He is Creator Pro Wrestling's
2024.
Yeah. Yep.
One of the very talented 2024 Creator Pro Wrestling graduates, alumni now. Nick Robles, the rocker Nick Robles. How you doing, brother?
Hey, how are you?
Good,
I
Nick.
feel like
Good.
we've done this before.
It seems very familiar. It seems very familiar.
Minutes ago, exactly.
Yeah, something.
It's the butterfly effect.
It may be. I've been hitting the head a lot, so I forget. But
it's okay. Here we go.
Yeah. Thank you for joining us, Nick. Thank you for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
Application. We're in the midst of Mania Week. Really big, of course, big doings going on here in my area, South Jersey and the Philadelphia area. You have a show coming up this Thursday, correct?
Yes.
At the Monster Factory in Paulsboro, New Jersey. We are 5-star.
Yeah,
and that's a nighttime show, I believe. Correct?
8 p.m.
8 p.m. bell time.
8 p.m.
Yeah. The Monster Factory, which is literally blocks away from where I am here in Jersey. I live in Paulsboro as well. And they have a full slate of shows going on starting tonight, going right on through your show, right on through to Sunday. And of course, the dozens upon dozens of independent shows and events going on with WrestleMania this weekend, and this week has become it's become kind of a happening of its own. Sure, everybody comes and goes to wherever WrestleMania is, but it's become just almost just a big of a deal for all the smaller and independent promotions that are get to go to an area and be in front of a crowd. And people that they normally don't get to see normally as they run their shows locally. But what's that like for you? Is this your first time participating?
Yeah, this is actually my first Mania Week I will be a part of. I was a little too new last year and to go to LA and do that and everything. I was a little too new at that point, but had another year under my belt to get more matches, more reps, more skill. And this one's also way closer. So
Yeah.
it's a little less distance in between. So I'm about ready to make my debut for Mania Week.
Right. And Michael will back me up because he's seen more of you live than I have. But of course, Creator Pro Wrestling, Victory Pro Wrestling, Blitzkrieg Pro Wrestling, to name a few where you have worked and everything. And you have a interesting little group you're part of. Of course, it's yourself, Jack Tomlinson, and Dante Drago is the best. I was told I'm contractually obligated to say that way. That is the Delta House.
Yes, it is.
Okay. And we were talking previously about you guys are obviously not only are you working together, training together, wrestling together, you spend a lot of time just together. Is that help the creative process? Does it give you as a performer more or less of a sounding board to figure things out, like what may be a good idea in your head? The other two guys were like, no, that's not a good idea, or stuff like that. Do you have that type of bond, I guess, together at this point?
Oh yeah, definitely. Other colleagues or other wrestlers are great, people to bounce ideas off of all the time, especially when they're in a faction with you, so they know you so well, they know kind of what you're all about, so they're able to think about ideas for you a lot better and think, no, this wouldn't work for you specifically sometimes, or maybe, but just do it this way sometimes. Like that's like using other wrestlers that you know and are friendly with is usually one of the best ways to get like an idea rolling.
Cool. Now, of course, WrestleMania it's all about the fans and everybody coming in for the WrestleMania itself, and all the Hall of Fame, and this one is I'm a little sad I'm not going to the Hall of Fame this year, just besides the fact that it's literally in my backyard, and the fact that Paul Heyman, the man who made Misfits into icons and turned a bingo hall into a shrine, is going into the Hall of Fame. For you as a fan, what are you looking forward to the most for WrestleMania itself, or what has captivated you the most? Not from a wrestling standpoint, just strictly as a fan of watching on TV like us.
Well, I gotta say then, I'm looking for Cody to finish the story.
Okay.
That's where I am. That's where I'm at. If I'm just talking from a fan's perspective, I'm looking for the story to be finished, baby.
Okay. All right. Well, that is usually one of the first questions I've been asking through the series is Cody or Roman, and then is Seth and Cody or Rock and Roman on Saturday.
See, that one I don't know. I think Rock and Roman are winning that one.
Yeah,
and it'll open up more chaos for Sunday, which will be fun.
Right. Which we all agree with that. Story. Yeah. Okay.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
What else? Other than obviously the main story, Cody and Roman, Rock, Seth, Cody and Roman. What other match are you looking forward to, or you have your eye on?
I'm excited for Bayley versus Io.
Okay.
Honestly, yeah, a big Bayley fan, so very excited to see that. Ladder match is always fun as well. So obviously that.
Well, we'll be at odds because I am a huge Io fan. So perfect. But that's the beauty of wrestling. But as an independent performer and again new to the business and absolutely out making a name for yourself now and killing it as you're doing it, we're all very aware wrestling has never been hotter. It's never been as popular. It's literally everywhere now, even, and yes, it's had periods like that before, the Attitude Era, all that. But in all my years of being a fan, it's never been even during the height of the Attitude Era, it was not, and the Monday Night Wars, it was not at the level it's at now. But for you as a performer, especially out on the indies, are you seeing that heat, that steam coming down to the independents, kind of trickling down? Are you seeing more interest in the shows that you're performing at?
Yes, definitely. Like wrestling has gone from, because of how hot it is and how much it's gone from being a niche interest into like the full realm of pop culture itself, like mainstream ones. You see like accounts that wouldn't normally, but only if they were posting wrestling, be WWE or AW or somewhere else. They're posting more independent stuff. You see more people like wrestling fans, their friends who are not wrestling fans get more interested in wrestling. Like, oh yeah, take me to an indie show. Let me see what this is all about. So you'll see the uptick in like people able to get their friends to come with them who normally aren't wrestling fans, but they've seen how hot the business has gone. Like, let me check this out. So you see more and more people start to want to see more about what professional wrestling is.
Absolutely. The other thing I'll say to that is, I've been a proponent and fan of independent wrestling for quite a long time, probably longer than you've been alive because I am that old. But it's to see it on TV, to go to a big live show, to go to a WWE or AEW show, they're great all into their own. Not usually the most fiscal thing, but to go once in a while. But that's why I've always said, man, if you're a fan of wrestling, you want to be out and going to the indies and supporting the indie shows and all that, because the access, the availability, you literally right there at the ring. Pretty much every seat is a ringside seat, and sometimes you may be involved in the action and not even be aware of it as someone comes over a guardrail or jumps into the crowd or something like that. But yeah, the indie experience is so much more intimate, and that's why I say it's always, if you like what you're seeing on TV, go to an indie show, because you're going to see that exact same thing, but way closer, way more up close and personal. Do you think that it's going to be a something that continues as 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 the big promotions go? That keeps trickling down to the indies.
I think it's I mean, it's a I don't know. All that type of stuff is very like volatile sort of situation where like it's just so up and down constantly.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think it'll like indie wrestling will always ride the wave along with just wrestling in general.
Mm-hmm.
But but like if you start seeing more guys get signed per se, people will come out because they'll see a bunch of new crop of talent and see more stuff. But I think always I don't like it's more of a how long will it be going trending upwards, because everything eventually does come down.
Mm-hmm.
It's just how stuff works.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah,
I think this is gonna be a longer ride of like success for independent wrestling as a whole, because you have all this availability to like watch it like with IWTV and like promotion streaming on Twitch or YouTube. So it's a lot more available to like someone who doesn't feel like getting out of their house.
Sure. Well, we can all thank the pandemic for that. We all figured out we were cooped up, and everybody went and bought their nice TVs and the surround sound because we couldn't do anything. And I make no bones about it. I'm a gamer. So, of course, I went out when I got my PS5. I got the brand new high def to go with it because we weren't going anywhere. We weren't doing anything. So I was sitting home doing what everybody else was doing, playing video games and watching wrestling and trying to figure out how to bake banana bread. But yeah, you're right. But that's the other thing now. And this is, I think, is what has really brought a rise to wrestling in general. Through all my years of fandom, and going back to the old tape trading days, to only having certain things on TV, which was great, to now literally you could be 7 days a week, 24 hours a day watching wrestling from all over, from literally everywhere. It's not just what we're seeing here now, but thanks to YouTube, thanks to streaming services, you can get watch wrestling from Japan, Germany, Australia, literally anywhere. What I was wondering though, as a performer, do you is it a help or a hindrance to have that kind of exposure, or potentially that kind of exposure?
I think it's always a help. It's always great. Like it's always great showing up to a show, seeing that, this is going to be streamed somewhere. That not only means that people can see it as it goes on in live, but it means it lives on somewhere else, like permanently online somewhere where people can have an easier amount of access to it rather than tape trading and having to get a VHS player and put it in. All you need is a Roku stick or even just a phone, and you can be able to watch anyone's matches from anywhere.
Right.
It helps people. Yeah, helps people be able to stand out. They can get clips of their matches to post that somewhere to show, hey, this is what I can do. If you're interested, whatever, here's the full match.
Right.
It helps people find a way to stand out.
Yeah. Very true. Very true. And I think that is absolutely, especially for the younger independents like yourself, that is, you couldn't get, 10 years ago, you didn't have that exposure. You had your live crowd, maybe somebody had their mom or dad in the crowd with the camcorder or something like that, but it's nowhere near what it is now. And I think it's such a great thing. The other thing I wanted to speak with you about is, now, of course, one of the reasons why we here at Nation's Corner, when we discuss it, is the reason why wrestling is so hot is because we have such compelling stories that we haven't seen in quite a while. Stuff that makes you, every Monday and Friday night, you're tuning in to see what's going on because you can't miss it, because you can't miss an episode of it. And traditionally in independence, you don't see that. But I'm starting to notice as a fan sitting in the stands, that even as the general heat of the big promotions trickling down, that's also trickling down too, that you're starting to see even the independents. Granted, production is what it is. We're not dealing with, if we all had WWE money, we'd all make fantastic wrestling shows, but still the things that you guys can do with character, with story, giving something, making the people want to come back to that next show to see what happens next, or how are they continuing. Are you seeing that more and more as you go to these different promotions, that there's more of a shift to that storytelling? The in-ring's always great, but what about the storytelling?
100% storytelling is increased on the independent scene. Just look at Creative Pro. We've had stories going on. The women's tournament, although it looks like just a tournament, it's had a story developing between Gabby and Nat. Or if you look at Wrestling Open every Thursday, their weekly show, they have stories going on from week to week.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
even VPW.
Yeah, VPW, Jack and Bryce.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Desmond and Dante. Yeah,
yeah.
Good.
It just keeps going on, and that keeps the fans coming back.
Yeah, it gives them something to think about.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just that was a cool match and that's it, but it's like, oh, this happened. I wonder what happens next time.
Yeah,
because this happened.
Yeah, and me personally, I'm glad, because and not saying that everybody is going that way, because there's a lot of independent shows that I've been to and have been a part of that. Basically, it's everybody kind of shows up at wherever the venue is, and somebody's there with a pen and pencil, like, okay, who's here? All right, you and you're gonna match. All right. Wait, who's in the bathroom? Okay. Well, tell them when they get out of the bathroom, halfway through your match, they're running in. All right, you two, when you're done eating, you two get with those two, your tag match. It's basically throw some stuff together and throw it out in the ring and see what happens. But I'm so glad to see of all even just the general attention that's being trickled down to the independents, that part of it, the storytelling, and whatever in the confines you can do. But a lot of people I've noticed more recently, yourself included, is everybody seems to have a better, at least a little better understanding of story, of character, how to make that connection, not just the moves and all that, the spots, that stuff, that's all fine and great, and it makes for entertaining match. But everybody seems to have this, or the growing thought is how are you making that connection? How are you getting people to come see you live, to watch you on streaming? Is that something you're noticing as well?
Oh yeah, people are starting to very much cool move, everything gets a gift, obviously that helps, but once people weave it in with like who they are, it makes it much better. Like everyone's like starting to realize like, oh yeah, people latch on to personalities, not like people match, like everyone can do like whatever, but not everyone can be who you are, or like do what your character does. So obviously it's all about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, except for our friend Ciara, she cosplays the best. She's the best cosplayer out there, as far as I know.
That's true. Big cosplayer.
She's the best. You've made it when she cosplays you.
Big Tristan Kyle fan. Yeah.
Yeah, she is a Tristian. Yeah. He's a little enamored with him, but I've seen, hey, you guys used her whatever, the paddle that time.
Whatever's around.
Hey,
That's what I really love about the Creative Pro shows and the VPW shows. That the fans and the talent are just so much fun and have so much fun. And you guys are always accessible. So I always encourage anybody to go and see an independent show because it's not just you guys, it's not just the places that you go. It's wherever we go. Shake an independent talent's hand and tell them you can't wait to see them on TV in 5 years down the road, and that's what we want. And there are people on TV right now that we've said the same thing to in one form or another, and we see them on TV, and it's very exciting.
Yeah,
that's what we hope for you, man.
Thank
absolutely.
You.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Tell us, you were the graduate from Creative Pro this year. Also,
Sebastian Amore was my fellow graduate.
Okay.
Who else? There was two more.
Sebastian Amore.
Yes, Sebastian Amore. Okay. Oh, it's just two of you, right? Yeah.
There was two of us.
Sebastian Amore. Yes. Great job. Now, but you also were you rookie of the year?
I was not rookie of the year. I was one to watch. Gabby was rookie of the year and absolutely ran off with that one.
Is our homie the know me the bomb or what?
Gabby's great. We love Gabby. We all love Gabby.
There are people like you and like Gabby, like people see you once and say they got it, and I'm not just blowing smoke. I don't say it to everybody, but it's really a fun thing. I know I tell you all the time at the shows, and that's just the way I am. I'm not just I'm not kissing ass or anything like that. It's just how I feel. I just out of the pandemic, this is one of the most positive things that we've all taken out of it. Hanging out with my crew and going to see independent wrestling shows and going to meet and greets and all that stuff. So we really appreciate you and appreciate you coming on too with us. This is great. So is there the camaraderie that I see you guys have on the social media? Is there any road stories you could tell us traveling with the guys? Because I know you've been from probably like Canada to Maine or to Massachusetts and down here, Jersey or whatever. Who's the most annoying one? Who else? Who do you have? Who do you have that like tries to make believe they're asleep when you pull up to the gas station? Stuff like that. And who's the one that always has you guys laughing your asses off?
So we don't have any of the gas station people. We don't have that. That's one great thing about the people at Creative Pro. No one's like,
you don't need that heat.
No one tries to no one tries to skip out on paying gas money. We always pay the gas goblin at the end of a trip. Awesome. Throw some cash, thanks for the ride, everything. Right. Probably one of my favorite cars to go in is me, Dante, Bryce Donovan, and Bobby Orlando. That's always a really fun car that we have, especially usually up to Blitz. Sometimes we'll have a fifth person come in with us, like Aaron Rourke or someone else who's on the show. But that's always a fun car that I'm frequently in.
Yeah.
It's always great.
Is someone like Bobby Orlando too much to handle? Is he too crazy off the wall, or is he sedate till he's on?
No, Bob's great. Bob is Bob. Bob is
it's
Bob.
My mom.
Bobby's the Randy Savage thing where it's oh no, you actually are. You actually know this. But we love it. We all love Bob.
He grabbed me on the side one time coming out and was hugging me, and I'm like, dude, man, my knees are gonna go.
Bobby's great.
Energy, man. That's what I mean. It's Creative Pro just gives everything. Every time I see Brian Myers, I'm like, dude, man, I don't know how many times you want to hear me say this, but this and TNA and I mean,
Well,
kudos to him, to Mr. Buck, Pat Buck, and to everybody else behind the scenes. Yeah. All the wrestlers, it just like there's so many entertainers, even Stevens. I mean, it's just you go down. Philip Cardigan, that guy. I can't keep a straight face when that guy starts anything, man, and then he gets in the ring and does all that shit, ties the guys at knots.
Well, let's talk about that a second, Nick. Obviously, a product and student of Creator Pro. That to me, not knowing anything else about you, like Mike said, that Nick Robles, he works for Creator Pro and was trained by Creator Pro. I was like, okay, I know right away just from the reputation of Creator Pro that this guy isn't going to suck. This guy is going to be good. And that's just the reputation that Creator Pro has in this area. But especially over my years in and around the indies, not everybody has that same experience. But especially when it comes to training or learning how to actually wrestle. But and again, like Mike said, you have Brian Myers, you have Pat Buck, two very good, not only good wrestlers but good wrestling minds and good minds for the business. Do you? I mean, obviously, we can name all the advantages. Do you feel that advantage? Do you feel that yourself as you've gone through training and graduating and now working shows and stuff like that?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, Brian and Pat have created this incredible, it's like its own ecosystem. It's its own just little hub that's just wrestling. That's like nothing. I've never seen anything bad come out of that school. I joined the school in 2021. That's when I started training. Creator Pro had been around for about 8 years at that point, I think. And what they had created had already shown the fruits of its labor. As much as I have been trained by Pat and by Brian, there's been others who they have trained before me that have been great mentors. Bear Bronson, great mentor, but Aaron Rourke has I could credit him as one of the people who trained me from day one to now to what I am.
Okay. Yeah.
Great job.
I can't, obviously it's you in the ring and taking all this talent, but where that training, where that ability comes from, where the school, like I said, when Mike told me that you're a Creator Pro guy, I was like, okay, this guy isn't going to suck. It's not. But there's a lot of schools. There's a lot of schools. There's a lot of guys, that will literally just take your money and after about 3 months, get in the ring, you're good. Just count your money, and you hear horror stories like that from wrestlers all the time. But especially in this case, this being a product of Creator Pro, I just wanted to make sure that the folks watching and listening were aware that there are schools out there that absolutely will you'll work your ass off, you will get beat up, you will and spend a lot of time doing it, but when they say okay, you're ready to go out and to do it at a high level, then some guy that worked in some guy's boxing gym in his backyard, but took all his money, but he can barely do a wrist lock. So I wanted to put a little spotlight on Creator Pro for a second, because that is that's definitely one of the schools you think of. Creator Pro, Team 3D Academy in Connecticut and Florida, Devon and Bubba Ray School, Black and Brave out in Iowa, Malix and who's that guy? That's right, Seth Rollins, him, Kobe Black, that guy. I think he knows. I think he's doing okay. I wonder about that school sometimes, because I don't know if they're going to make it.
Yeah, I don't
know. But things like that. But man, schools matter. Now, Grant, you're from the area and stuff, and obviously, if you have something of that caliber in your backyard, but when you were making the decision, I want to do this, did that figure in? Were you looking at other places, or had thought of other places, or it was just, well, goddamn, it's right here in my backyard, why not?
So obviously, yeah, how close it is. I'm like 17 minutes away, so that's great for me. But like, there's, but obviously, I looked around. Choosing wrestling school is like choosing a college for me. I'm like, I want to make sure wherever I'm going is the best possible place to go do this. But I looked around, and obviously, Creative Pro is the best choice. Like, we've had people come from like upstate New York, like Yonkers, like even Connecticut before to come down just to train with us because they know it's the best school around. Like, that's why for me, becoming a graduate is so special because it's a great school. It's like they choose a graduate when they believe you are ready to be one. It's a stamp of approval. It's not like, all right, here's the curriculum. You went through this amount of time. Done. Yeah. It's like, no, now you're ready. We believe in you. We'll put the stamp of approval on you. That's why it's one of the reasons it means so much.
Yeah. Very cool. That's kind of one that I figured, but I wanted to hear from someone who's been through it because I go through the same thing with my connection here with Monster Factory. Again, these are young men and women from basically all over the tri-state here in New Jersey, New York, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Delaware, come up and it honestly and you can absolutely tell, especially the number of indie shows I go to. You can see who's been to a good legitimate school and who hasn't, and unfortunately, it's painfully apparent very quickly. But when you see that and get attuned to that, you're like, wow, man, everybody always has some sort of bad experience or some story. They go, well, it's somebody had a bad time, this and that. But no, it's the way it is. You have a lot of young men and women out there that, according to someone really not qualified, is out wrestling, and that's another whole story in itself. But at least in your case, and people that come from Creative Pro, you have such a strong foundation that literally you can, like you are doing now, you can go and work anywhere with anyone and be confident in your ability to put on a good match. Also, to me, a benefit of being associated with a good school and a good organization, you get a lot more eyes on you, bigger eyes on you quicker than somebody else. And I mean, that's got to be a little pressure though, because you're kind of holding up the banner here, and knowing that you have eyes bigger than what you're just seeing out in the audience on you.
100%. Everywhere I go, I always make sure that whatever I'm doing would never reflect badly on Creative Pro. It's because I have a lot of pride like coming from there, and I never want to do anything to like tarnish the reputation of the school. With all it's given me, I never want to like do anything like to affect it negatively. So anywhere I go, I always say, Nick, I'm for Creative Pro, whatever, and I want to make sure that doesn't become a bad thing associated with that.
All right. We'll switch gears for a second.
Speaking about Creative Pro, tell us a little bit about the Creative Pro Wrestling 10-year anniversary Super Show. That's coming up. Yeah, tell us about that. I mean, there's some big, huge talent coming over.
Which one?
I mean, well, first of all, Brian is bringing the rest of
the system,
the rest of the system, the tag champs of TNA tag champs, and also PCO. He is not human. He's going to be there, and the very nice, very evil
Creative Pro return. Which is also very exciting for me as well, personally, just because the first show I ever wrestled on for Cap was the Danhausen show back in 2021. So that's a nice little mini full circle moment for me. But we have Danhausen coming, we have the system, Brian, Alicia, Eddie, PCO, and we're looking to make it the biggest show that we've ever had. So very excited. That's May 11th. Tickets are on sale now at eventbrite.com.
I got one.
There you go. See,
you talking about you talked about Gabby and Nat Cast before we were.
Yeah, not much has been announced of the show yet, like the matches, like match speaking wise, but Yeah, we already have Gabby.
You know, well, this is where it begins. This is where it ends with the first ever women's championship belt.
Yes,
Are you excited for that?
Yeah, very excited. I'm a big fan of, for instance, my little sister is an amateur wrestler in high school, so I've always appreciated seeing women come into the male-dominated sports. It's great to see Creative Pro after 10 years finally have a women's champion and finally have enough women to actually have a women's division. So that's always great to see. Hopefully it attracts even more girls to come join wrestling so we can have more competition for Gabby, for Nat, and whoever else we have wrestle on our shows. So I'm very excited for that. Very excited for Erin versus Bobby. That was after Bobby won the #1 contendership gauntlet and at the last show hunting season. So we have a few matches still.
It's going to be an exciting show. Yeah, it's going to be an exciting show.
Big show.
I suggest everybody try to. Yeah, don't. Hey, listen, I took a nap the other day, and first row was sold out. So there I go. Shit out of luck on that one. I'm there. It don't matter, man. I'll be there with my La Greca heads, and I'll have my cane. Hopefully, we get John out there. We'll have a cane and a leg out there, maybe.
Yep.
Yep. Come out there. You get those little brats that try and chop you too, man. It's not nice, man.
That's VPW. That's VPW.
Oh, those kids. Oh,
F them kids.
Yeah, but Bryce could start them up anywhere, right?
Probably.
It's just so much fun seeing all you guys wrestling, and the fans are like some of the best fans out there. It really is an awesome time. You're into metal, obviously. I'm definitely hard rock and metal. You come out,
yeah, hair metal, yeah.
Yep.
It's frozen.
Give him a say. Froze for a second.
Sister.
There he goes.
It happens. Whatever. It happens. These Wi-Fi things. Zoom. Yeah. You're the rocker. You come out. You're rocking and rolling, and I can't root against you, man. If you come out there and try and be a bad guy, I can't. It's hard to root against the rock and roller, It's the rocker in me. That's how I am. Very tribal when it comes to my heavy metal.
Yeah, it's the music I love, and it's the only music I listen to. So it's I might as well incorporate this into who I am as a wrestler. So, and I think it's worked so far. I think it's done well.
So I'm gonna ask you a question. Who was the wrestler, or what was the WrestleMania event, or what was the event that you saw or went to or that you saw live on TV that got you hooked and said, I want to do that?
So my dad has always been a huge wrestling fan since the early days of his life. He always grew up watching Crockett Promotions, WCCW, Georgia Championship, all those places. Good and man. He's always grown up as a wrestling fan. So it was always something I'd see out of the corner of my eye growing up. He took a little bit of a break of watching wrestling for a minute, but he came back in 2014. That's when I started see a bit more of it as I got older. And then 2015, I finally sat down and watched the Royal Rumble with him. First match I ever saw was the John Cena, Seth Rollins was a triple threat for the WWE Championship at that time. And then I watched the 2015 Royal Rumble and got hooked on Bryan Danielson. That's who I got hooked. Yeah, that's who I got hooked first. And then that's got me sparked into being a fan. Then watching the Intercontinental Championship ladder match at that year's WrestleMania is what made me decide I wanted to do this. So it wasn't a very long amount of time before I jumped from fan to I want to do this now.
No, that makes. I mean,
Bryan Danielson it's hard to argue that he's not the best wrestler in the world right now. So That's a good jumping point to go.
Yeah,
from.
it's something to jump in on. That's definitely a high, set the bar high to jump in on. But that is that the goal for you?
What do you mean?
To be on the level or the popularity. I mean, obviously everybody wants to quote unquote make it in the business. Do you have that high goal of being the level of Bryan Danielson?
Definitely. I don't have like any aspirations to just like be around and just be like, oh, It's Nick, he's there, he's on the show.
Right.
Obviously, my aspiration is to be the absolute best that I possibly can be, for as long as I can be as well. I find ways to like make sure I can be at my best level and be able to do it for as long as I want.
No, it makes sense. That I speaking to many, especially independents. There are some that you can see at some point. It's just kind of something I do on the weekends. But then you come across the people that know. I'm starting here, but this journey is not over here. This has higher mountains to climb, higher goals to achieve, all this and that. And yes, I absolutely see that in you, especially in your in-ring work. You seem to be constantly you're not stale at all. You're constantly doing more, for lack of a better term, doing more work, trying to figure out move sets and move different things and constantly improving. So yes, you are absolutely. And again, coming from Creator Pro, I look at you and say, 5-7 years, I could be seeing this guy on my TV every week without much hesitation. Like, no, I'm going to be seeing this guy on TV. I'll be, on a Monday or a Friday or a Wednesday night or something. He'll show up. He'll be like, and I'll be like, hey, and to me, in 40 plus years of going to indies at this point, or actually 30 years going to indies at this point, that's always been it's still my biggest thrill out of it, is seeing young new people like yourself, coming to see you at Victory Pro, see you Creator Pro or Blitzkrieg or anything, and I'm like, wow, man, I think this kid's got something. I think he might be. And then lo and behold, 3-5 years later, oh look, he's got that banner. Nick Robles is all elite. Oh, okay. That and it's cool because I follow people. I keep tabs on them, and then all of a sudden there they are. Hey, they're on. Damn it! I knew it. I knew they were going to do it, and good for them because now they're on my TV. And that feeling has never gotten old for me, and it's happened literally probably hundreds of times in my fandom time. And you're absolutely on that list.
All right. If you go to NXT, if you get signed to NXT one day, what's going to be your name? Because we already know it's not going to be Nick Robles. They're not going to let you keep your name.
I don't know. I'll probably just mash it with something. I'll probably try to keep my last name and just change my first or something. I don't know. We'll see. I'll probably end up taking some mishmashing some rock and roll frontman's name together with another one. That's probably what I do. Depending on what they want me.
Like Maddie Rinkowski is now Ren Sinclair.
No, she's not. She's Maddie Rinkowski. Yeah. I don't change names. I reject WWE's reality. I call
Walter Cooper now. That's it. Hey, listen, you just got to give in. It's the way things go. That's the way it goes.
Well,
no, but seriously, when you have someone who's made it, now you've obviously Creator Pro has had quite a few that have made it through there. Chris Statlander, MJF. You got Bulk Bronson down there all the time. But you got these other stars coming through, PCO and such, and Courtney Rush. Do you bend their ears? Do you ask them any advice? How do you deal with when you see someone that's on from TV?
Some of them, if I see someone that I truly believe, I always accept feedback from everyone. I always ask for it, like, oh, you saw my match? What did you think? Anything like that. If I have an actual match, I'm not gonna be like, hey, what did you think of my spot in the Battle Royal or something? But if I have a singles match and like I notice them and they've seen my match, hey, what did you think? What could I have done better? I always try to ask what like for feedback, or I'll just like sit by them and like listen to what they have to say about certain stuff, because they'll usually just start spilling knowledge about stuff like out of nowhere, and it's always great. Like whenever we've had people drop into Creator Pro before just to like I want to get a rep in, sweat, whatever, workout, and it's always amazing to hear them they talk about their experiences.
Yeah, that's always great. This is an answer that we always expect to hear, that we want to hear, and that we know we're going to hear from people who've been trained and have really being trained the right way from the right people, and that's a perfect answer.
Getting the right school and right from the jump. You're not learning that on your own like some people have.
Well, let's just say a lot of young wrestlers get a bad rap, and it's not just it's not just at one company. It's something that all those millennials, and you'll just blame a whole, you'll just and it doesn't go that way. It never goes that way.
It's just a mindset. It's not specific to any like company or anything. It's just a mindset some people have. I think it's the wrong one, but
no.
It's their career, not mine.
Yeah, and see, sometimes people it takes people a little longer to learn, or to have a switch go on, or whatever it is. Sometimes people have to fall before they get up, and whatever the sayings are, that happens, and then some people have a head on their shoulders, and they get taught the right way at the schools that they go to, rather than have just pay money and go ahead and go wrestle.
Yeah.
Well, as we discussed many times already in this, you already have a solid foundation and something that you absolutely can build and continue to grow with, and get to those higher goals and those higher plateaus that you want to get to. So that in itself, like I said, I knew Mike. As soon as Mike said you're up from Creator Pro, I'm like, this guy don't suck. So, but it's crazy because some people it does take time to figure out where they're at, figure out what they want to be or who they are or anything. Are you still figuring that out? Do you have a pretty good idea of who Nick Robles, the wrestler, is?
Oh, I'm obviously always going to be evolving. This is just that's why I chose my real name for the most part. It's authentic. It's just me. I'm finding out. I'll find out along with everyone else who I am. I wouldn't say I'm all the way there like a who I know I am. It's how it is. But I find out. I struggled to come up with an idea of who I was like originally, but I landed on what I have now, and it's worked out. And like eventually, at some point, when it's run its course, eventually, I'll have to evolve. But I don't know. I always try to keep like a good mindset. It's something I'm very thankful for from when I used to wrestle in high school and amateur wrestling. It just helped build a good mind for myself.
Mm-hmm. Well, I can see that already. Yeah, I can see that. Some people, they like, oh, this works, and I'm going to ride this forever, and it's not. No, and granted, maybe 10, 20 years ago, you could probably get away with that, but that it's not the business now. It's not the business that you're in. It's fluid. It's constantly changing and evolving as things come along, and unfortunately, people may be good, but if it gets stale, it's hard. It's like, I'm sure you've heard in training and everything else, if you lose the crowd, it's real hard to get them back. And any circumstance. So, man, good for you for understanding that, I'm here now, but this is not where I may be 5 years from now. And, what the character you see now is going to be different. So, and that, some people have to learn that the hard way. And everybody, of course, is afraid of the bad gimmick or the gimmick, all this stuff, And nobody wants to be that, but sometimes you might have to do that to figure out what you want to be and get there. So, but already you seem like you have that, at least have an idea of it in your head. Is it the final product? No, it takes a while. It takes work and just figuring out where you are. But you seem well on your way.
Yeah, for me, it's just like music. It always has to evolve in some way.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever the music is that's popular now isn't what's going to be popular soon. So
right,
unless you're Mike,
and it's the still same three bands you've listened to for the last 45 years.
Well, I do that too, but I eventually. Yeah, eventually I have to change. It's just how things go.
Yeah,
even back then, like as you thought, like people like never change. People change.
Yeah,
like everyone like finds what works for them, and they just find little ways to build off of it. Not a lot of people go for like complete overhauls, but they just do little pivots, and it works
out. Sure, absolutely. I could not agree more.
Agreed.
Well, we don't want to keep you too long, Nick, or longer than we already have. But so you have this coming Thursday, 8 p.m. bell time, Monster Factory in Paulsboro, New Jersey. We are 5-star, and you are wrestling. Do you know who you're wrestling in that? Tommy's Flex. Okay. Tommy Beck. Again, at the Monster Factory in Paulsboro. You can go to their socials or Nick for tickets. And then the Creator Pro 10th anniversary show.
Yeah, I have that coming up. Not this Saturday, but Saturday after 13th. I'm wrestling a 5-star again in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. After that, before that, actually, I believe I will be there for NFW Hysteria back at the White Eagle. So very excited for that.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Get them all out. Get the dates all out so people know where they can see it.
Yeah, 12th, NFW Hysteria. 13th, 5-star Wrestling Ignition. After that, I believe on the 20th, I have PPW, Pennsylvania Premier Wrestling. And then 21st, I believe we have a Cap TV Live, which is a free show at the which is a show where fans can get in free, watch Creative Pro Wrestling up close at Hicksville. So whenever that information is released, you'll be able to find out how to get on.
Okay. And also,
while you're at it, to one of those shows. I haven't been to one of those ones in Hicksville yet. I've been to Lynbrook. Lynbrook is fun, and of course Melville is awesome.
Melville's a big show always. But Cap TV Live, it's a great spot, especially to watch like newer talents come in. Like at the last one, I wrestled a Cap newcomer, Kwesi Asante, and everyone loved him. Everyone commentary loved him. The fans loved him. It's where you get to see even newer people shine in a way that maybe they couldn't on a loaded Melville card or a loaded Lynbrook card.
Okay.
It's how I worked my way onto getting on these Lynbrook shows consistently.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay. All right. That's nice. And while you're at it, get the socials out, get the merch links out, let people know where they can connect with you and buy some money, spend some money with you.
Oh, yes. I just appreciate any love anyone can give me on all socials, both Instagram and on X, almost called it Twitter.
I still call it Twitter. So
Twitter. NEJ Robles Robles on Twitter and Instagram. And then for merch, right now I got my Pro Wrestling Tee store up. Just look up Nick Robles on the Pro Wrestling Tee store, and you'll find my stuff.
Okay. All right. You got anything else for him, Mike?
No, I'm just looking forward to seeing you at the show at the 10th anniversary. I guess that's the next time we'll be seeing you. I'll be seeing you. I'll be checking you out on the IWTV, of course, on the shows that you're going to be on there. And it's just good luck to you, man, and great success. I wish you great success. I enjoy it like every time I see you. I enjoy every match, and you just get better and better every time. And I'm just excited.
He's so excited he vapor locked on us. But I think he's trying to say, Nick, is we're wishing you nothing
to see
but the
you
best.
one day on our TV screen.
Yeah.
There you go.
Taking the words out of my mouth. So, Nick, best of
Nothing
luck
but
this
that.
week, this Thursday. And hopefully I hope you guys have a great big sellout crowd and all kinds of people coming in to see us for that and in the shows in the future. And I am definitely going to try to rearrange my schedule to get me up to that area to see you live again, because I really enjoyed it last time. So
thank you very much.
no problem. Thank you so much for joining us here on Nation's
Thanks
Corner
for
on
having me.
Location, Nick. Yep,
Thanks for
man,
having
we'll
me.
see you. Yep, and you're welcome back
Nick.
here. Yeah, you're welcome back anytime. You're part of the Nation's Corner family now, so anytime you gotta get something out or want to talk about something, let one of us know. We'll absolutely give you time to
Awesome.
come
Thank
on
you
and
very
talk.
much. Thank you very much.
All right.
Thanks for having
You
me.
enjoy the rest of your night. Get some rest, because
You
it's
guys
about to
too.
be a
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Finally got it open.
you got it
Oh,
in.
yeah.
But yeah, you man, get some rest, because you got a busy couple days ahead. So
Yes, I do.
all right, Nick.
I know you're a cool one, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you
Have
very
a good
much.
night. Thanks
Have a
again,
good
Nick.
night.
You
my
too.
brother.
Thank you.
There
All
you
right,
go.
Mike. There
the
it is.
rocker.
Nick Robles,
Nick
the rocker.
Robles.
And
Is he awesome or what, man?
he is, man. He's definitely a guy to watch on all this. And so we don't run into any issues. We're going to wrap this one up. Thank Nick for joining us and being on with us. And for myself, John South Jersey, and Monogrovian Mike, this has been Nation's Corner on Location, and we will see you all at the shows.